Document all important paperwork. Document all important paperwork, David.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much. In this much time, you can be gone. You can be gone. Or your significant other could be gone. It happened yesterday. Someone was moving a gravel truck. The truck malfunctioned and crushed a woman in Martinez. She was a young woman with a little girl, about 3 years old, I think she was. I just experienced my best friend's husband passed away from the flu. Was not expected. So why do I talk to you about that? I get a frantic call at 3 o'clock in the morning saying my husband passed away. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what bank accounts I have. I have no idea if there's life insurance. I know the house is paid off. I know it's in my name and his name, but that's all I know. She was totally confused, disoriented, and of course distraught. What do you do in this situation? That's where planning comes into place. Do you know, does someone know where all your important documents are in case you're incapacitated for some reason? Does your significant other, does your designated person that is going to manage your funds for you, your information for you, do you know where all that information is? Think for a minute. There's a lot of information out there that people need to know. In my situation, my friend didn't know. Why is it important? It helps eliminate additional grief. If you know where everything is, you can go to one spot, pull it out, and say, if somebody says, do you have a marriage certificate? Oh, yes, I do. It's right here in my folder. Do you have his social security number? Do you have her social security number? Yes, I do. It's here, a copy of it. How about his driver's license number? Do you have a copy of that in a folder? If you don't, you'll need that. Those are some of the important documents that you will need to have to collect money, to be able to sign him up for death benefits, funerals, all of those information. A lot of that documentation you're going to need. What happens to yourself with the life insurance? Does anybody have life insurance? Do you have the documentation for your spouse to be able to collect that life insurance? Can they go to a folder and pull up and say, oh, here's my document for my life insurance? I went through 35 boxes to try to find the life insurance policy of my friend's husband. Do you think that was stressful for her? Can you imagine her sitting on the floor in the basement crying while I'm pulling out page after page in these boxes that are just been collecting in the basement for years, full of documents, dust. It was not fun. Did we find everything? Eventually we did. One life insurance policy we were not able to find, but fortunately it was coming out of his checking account. We were able to call the number on that checking account that was being taken out, and we were able to find the information, but we were just lucky. The other important information is that once you have all that information, it's important to have it and report it to the proper authorities like Social Security, your credit card, cancel those credit card numbers. All of that information can happen to be fraud down the line, and you need to make sure that you take care of that going forward. So we talked a little bit about why it's very important to do. What are some of the information that you need? Now I pulled up some information off of the ARP, I think it's called ARP, AARP, yeah. Documentation, there's many sources. I did a Google search. The one I found that was best was from AARP. But make sure that you have copies of marriage certificates, social security numbers, birth certificates, insurance policy, deeds and titles to property. That's another thing. If your title is not in both names of your properties, you're probably going to end up in probate. You can easily eliminate probate by getting a trust. Wills do not eliminate probate, but wills are also a good way to designate what your wishes are so that you don't get into any issues with the family. Now, my friend had a far removed son that was a little disgruntled that my friend was cremated. But his wishes were clearly documented in his will, so that was pretty much eliminated that issue. But of course, there were some pieces of property that were not in her name, so that actually goes to probate, and that state takes over. It can take up to 6 months to resolve probate, and if there's anybody disagreeing with it, it can go on for years. And also there's quite a bit of costs. Probate in Michigan was 8% of what the value of the probate estate is. So now the value of the property is not a lot, but the problem is that property is going to be tied up for probably a good 5 to 8 months, depending on if any of the children protest. So those are some of the things: automobile registrations, stock certificate, bank passports, even an honorable discharge paper if you have that, because sometimes there are benefits from the VA for death, and you can get those benefits by showing the honorable discharge paperwork. So these are just a few of the items that they recommended. And then just a clear list of all the bank documents that you have, or at least the accounts, and what you have, the type of account it is, like Bank of America or Citibank, or whatever the case may be, plus all the credit cards. So you have all that information in one spot. We talked about wills and trusts, probates. Again, I talked about the web reference from AARP. There are many other ones, but you can at least use that one. I also included in the documentation that was handed out an example of a spreadsheet with some of the way to document. But I at least hope that you've taken a moment, thought about, do you have the documentation available for your significant others so that if something does happen to yourself or them, you know where to go. Thank you.
Please take 2 minutes to fill out the evaluation form.